we're very lucky to have that previous project, Bryn. So we've been able to pull together 5 years of data. So this is the 5 years of data from vegetables, which includes right back to 17-18 year and all the way through this last couple of years that we've analysed. So we're really starting to get some strong data now in vegetables across a range of vegetables. The average operating efficiency, it seems to remain at a constant level now between 74 and 77%, and the return on capital for the industry somewhere between that 6 and 8%. So we're starting to get some really good numbers, and they're not always just the same growers. The grower numbers are increasing each year, so we're actually getting different growers in. So that's not just the data set of the same old growers from 5 years ago. So I think what's really interesting there is if I look at this 74 to 77% operating efficiency, that's the area where growers need to concentrate.
Yeah.
And this is the data, a really strong data set now, which gives you that individual year ups and downs and how they move. So it's good to see this from 16-17 through to 2021. And you can see the variations there. If we look at operating profit per hectare, we've gone from 16-17 of nearly $13,000. And then obviously as the data set's got much stronger, we're starting to get a more relevant or relative, I reckon, to what's happening in the industry, which is that up around that $25,000-$30,000 a hectare of operating profit. The operating efficiency sits at that 75 and still above that target that we believe the industry should target for, which is 70%. So, but a return on capital, you wouldn't sneeze at that, Bryn. I mean, as a 5-year average, you're not too far away from the 8% that we like to target in Planfarm to have a business double its wealth over 10 years with that sort of return. And importantly is the equity change. And this is just, again, the strength of the businesses that are involved in the project, which has been really enlightening for us, is that better and stronger businesses are interested in looking at what's happening in their business, and so they're coming into the project, and we're starting to see that flow through. And bearing in mind, there is a bit of land value increase happening there. So land values have increased significantly the last couple of years, and that will be picking up on some of that as well. But that's still real. It's a real number in the balance sheet. And I'd just like to look at draw people's attention to this graph down in the bottom left-hand corner. This is the operating profit result and the operating efficiency, and you can see the variations from year to year. So the bar graphs are the dollars per hectare, and then the line is the operating efficiency. And obviously what we want to see here, Bryn, is that over time, these businesses in the industry are actually driving a bar graph that's going upwards to the right.
Yeah.
And the operating efficiency is coming downwards, because that's when you're actually producing, it's almost a crossover. You're producing more operating profit to then pay for overheads and expand or invest in off farm. So, quite pleasingly a pretty good result. But more so, I think the important thing here is that this operating efficiency is just such a big area for growers to focus on. What are they doing? What can they do to improve that? Is it mechanisation? There's a lot of these things being thought of at the moment. And I think if you think about mechanisation and labour costs on its own for a minute, then you've got businesses that are showing increase in equity. So their balance sheet is strong. So their capacity, their borrowing capacity, or their capacity to fund business expansion, and that might be in mechanisation, is quite strong. If the businesses were poor equity or down around the 70%, then their ability, their capitalisation, the capital in the business to use to then invest into productivity gains would be limited. But we're finding that there actually is good equity in businesses that are well capitalised, and that is an area they need to look at to actually see if they can bring down operating efficiency, because that will drive their profit.
It's a big focus, I guess, for each individual business, but I guess for like vegetablesWA and other industry bodies to consider the future prosperity of an industry as what can we systematically do to start bringing that line down as well.
Yeah, if anything at all, but where's the support needed? Because I think it's one thing to say, businesses are wealthy because they have 84% equity, but they still have to make a return on that. They still have to make a living on that. And if that is the case, then these are the areas we need to be looking at. Hence why we did that cost analysis.
Yes.
For many growers was, okay, if these costs have gone up, how much do you have to recoup in extra price? How much do you have to go to your supplier and say, well, look, my costs have gone up by 5 cents per kilo, 10 cents per kilo, whatever the number is. I need that just to stop going backwards. So that's, I think the data is very strong.